separate enclosure in that they are far more aloof and sensitive than most rhinos. The baby next to his mom will be almost 2 years old in a couple of months. It's amazing how fast time flies, huh? He's looking at us, loving the hay and oats and alfalfa that have been brought to them. The keepers this morning have already probably come into the yard. Mom says, yeah, this stuff on the bottom's good. But they are critically endangered only because people poach them for horn. I've heard everything from a cure for fever to an aphrodisiac. Others simply carve it into dagger handles.
There we go.
So if that would cease, maybe they'd have an it is important for us to collaborate and then say, share these animals, the births, including that little one that you saw, the little male. Share the genetic studies and the behavior studies, and then, if the land is there, barring human conflict and poaching, you can get them back to amazingly capable of having them disappear in green, because predators with limited color vision can't tell the difference between the two colors. Now here on the right, you've got some tan and white Somerang's gazelle and a darker one under the palm trees with a yellow stripe down its back, the yellow-backed duiker. And of the two, the darker one is being used in the bushmeat trade, which is illegal because they're selling animals for profit, and sometimes for high-end restaurants. Trough has a couple of sable antelope, and one's bigger and darker. That bigger and darker one is, of course, the male. They're always that color. Much darker than the others at maturity, and about a third again as large. But where the Gemsbok stands pretty much closest to them, very accurate with those horns. Staring down the road at the rest of the herd where we will stop next. Anything beyond the middle I generally talk about from the other side, but you can see a wildebeest close to the middle of the roadbed. Coming our way. Come on, fella. More of the wildebeest are at the feeder trough. And what a tremendous picture you have now of them, including the babies for the Gemsbok. They're tan, by the way. And nature's smart, because if you're tan and you're a baby and you sit in the dirt, you won't be seen by a predator as easily. But lavender's a color that can blend into the dunes of South Africa pretty nicely, too. Nice to look at them this closely. Check out the ears, because inside of each ear is what we call a false eye. So if from a distance a predator looks at them, they stick out the ears, and inside those dark marks facing forward are indicative of a predator's eyes. So it confuses them. South Africa is an amazing place, as are southern white rhino, one of which on our left will be shipped out to another zoo to be a breeder there, because he's sired 9 of the offspring that we've had. So genetic diversity is maintained that way. And southern white rhino, I want you to remember, because that square lip, 2 horns, and no folds of skin are their trademark. They look identical to another species known as a northern white rhino that, should we see today, I will then tell you more about, but 2 females and a male. Certainly appreciating the presence and knowing that the difficulty is such that the concerns, of course, are the economies in Somalia, because currently, with such a poor economy, they're going anywhere for a financial gain or a food source, so naturally the animals suffer negatively. Got to bring up people's economies, that's for sure. Checking out the scenery, our reticulated giraffes looking into the housing unit, probably at the grass that's growing in there. Just looking at him like, hey, he doesn't want me near the feeder. As the Cape Buffalo march from one spot to the next. Big guys in the rear telling everybody it's okay. But there's always a sentinel in the lead. And it's fun to watch the transition. As the keepers hoist those 50-pound bags of pellets out there into the feeder troughs, that's no small, but a few feet. Do realize that most of them are called conservation dependent here on the left. That means the land is there and they can stay there if we can save it. Here's a